One.
Hey guys, it's Andy. I won GOAT Locals with a Reasoning Gate turbo deck and wanted to do a deck profile, so let's get into it.
Got the obligating.
Oh, of course, we gotta have those GOAT tokens too. Because this is Reasoning Gate turbo, we maxed out on the Chaos Monsters, you just kinda have to. It's the main way that the deck loads up a graveyard with monsters off of Reasoning and Monster Gate that don't stop the milling early. So you just have Chaos Fodder and Grave, summon another one, and now you have an easy way to manipulate your Banished for Dimension Fusion. So even if it feels weird to get a little clunky on some of the Chaos Monsters, you just gotta max them all. For the other non-Chaos Monsters, we have very small alignment here. 3 Crane because the deck needs a light. As you saw with the Chaos Monsters, we have 1 light and 3 darks there, so we have to have at least 3 lights here, and having the cycling ability to draw 1 off Crane is really important, and with 4 out of the 6 of these being able to be normal without tributing for Monster Gate, you just need to be able to get started, and once you do, you just don't stop. So the consistency of the Crane was more important to me than like Air Knight Parshath for a different level to call off Reasoning, I guess, if that makes any sense. You just need to get started in the first place. Fusler is really insane, actually, because the level 7 fusions are easily able to just solo some matchups. Same with Jinzo versus back row decks, and
then
DMOC being the toolbox your graveyard card that you just need in this every time. And then the rest is just, it feels like just a massive pile of spell cards. 3-Dimension Fusion, the reason why this deck actually has like a big push win condition, so gotta max out on 3 of it, gotta make sure that you get the Banish loaded up as quick as possible, summon everything, win the game.
Yeah.
3 Monster Gate, 3 Reasoning, you need to just get the Grave loaded up, so you always want to see these as quick as you can.
Heart and soul of the deck, pretty
Heart and
much.
soul of the deck. And the only other 3 of is 3 Scapegoat, because it is both a monster and not a monster at the same time. It's a monster for the purpose of tributing stuff off for Monster Gate's cost, but it's also not a monster that would make Reasoning or Monster Gate stop milling, so really important. Also, just in general, not dying when Jinzo is active. 2 Upstart, because we need to just see our combo pieces really badly. 2 Trunade, you can argue for a 3rd, but I thought the utility of the MST in the main for toolbox utility with
Was a lot better.
DMOC just goes safer. This outing like level in Area B in Game 1 is huge, because that way you don't have to be entirely reliant on, does Trunade actually, you know, lead to an OTK push immediately afterwards, because sometimes you just don't have that liberty. So the utility is really important. 2 Metamorphosis, I can understand someone playing any number between 1 and 3 of this. 2 just was like the amount of slots I had left after I fit in all the draw power I wanted, so again, you can just keep adding stuff back off of DMOC, and that's like the main win condition of the deck, is to just get the engine started. Pot, Graceful, we like drawing cards. We're not playing Delinquent Duo, because we don't care about our opponent's hand size when we just kill them.
Yeah.
Heavy, I mean, 2 Trunades and MST and a Heavy, you've got enough main deck back for removal. Snatch, there's a lot of times where you just use this to just take something so you can sack it off for Monster Gate, and people just keep forgetting that it's like, oh, he's not holding this as an endgame close, he's like milling this as something that like DMOC can add this back to then take an opponent's BLS or as a grind game thing, sure, or you can just fire this off immediately and just get your engine started off of the Monster Gates. Pre-mat, because when your opponent calls 8 off Reasoning all the time, you're constantly being put on how often are you just gonna like hard draw pre-mat, so that way you can revive the DMOC, and then DMOC can get you another starter, or like the Dimension Fusion to just fully combo off. Monster Reincarnation, only a 1 of, because you can toolbox it, and it just helps you get the Chaos Monsters out of your grave and into your hand so you can make the big pushes. And Lightning Vortex, because when you do get the Dimension Fusion to resolve, your opponent gets a full board of stuff if they have a big Banished, so you need to just be able to not lose the game because you gave them a board again. So just adding this off DMOC lets you just guarantee the board's gone. And then the only traps in the main deck, at least, are just 3 Jar Greed and a Call to Haunted. Just more deck thinning and consistency, because Call bring back DMOC, or Call bring back Jinzo, Sacred Crane, all of them are very, very relevant.
Especially with Sacred Crane being able to draw when it's special.
Exactly. For the side deck, I sided into Royal Decrees because, I mean, you saw the very minimal trap count. If we just need Jinzo and Jinzo-related accessories for matchups that are, let's say, what's it called? Pac-Man, I think is what people want to call that flip-heavy deck.
Yeah.
Things like that. Warriors to an extent as well. Just having
Blast
this.
with Chain.
Yeah, Blast with Chain if you're doing something with like the Gear Freed deck. Just having this as an easy side-in option instead of like Jar of Greeds, because a lot of the time when you're playing this deck, you have to just side out of your draw power to give yourself better longevity, rather than just having the raw consistency of like the first couple of turns. 2 Wind Blast, there's an argument for 3, I just didn't have room in the side when I put in everything else, because I wanted the utility of all of like the power 1-up traps. Especially like the matchups where you're put up against Spell Canceller for the mirror match, you want to just have 3 immediately reactive things that remove the Spell Canceller, even if they have like Trunade or something along those lines, or just easy ways to side out jars and side in 3 relevant cards. Or you can just side in these if the discard off the Wind Blast doesn't matter as much, and you actually are reliably seeing your opponent playing into them more. Sometimes you just have to gauge the matchup to see how people play into them. For the spells on the side, the 3rd Trunade, it's just a very simple, like, if MST isn't impactful enough, you just side into the 3rd Trunade and just try to have greater consistency to close it out. 3 Book of Moon, because if it's not exactly Spell Canceller, pretty much every floodgate against this deck loses to this. If it's, is it End of Anubis is the Necro Valley? Yeah, the Necro Valley monster is a little bit of an issue, so Book of Moon, remove it. Well, air quotes remove it, so you can still at least play the game. There was another big one, Kaiku, I believe, I think was the other big one, where just trying to trade with Kaiku is really important so you can play.
Book of Moon is really good against End of Anubis because it says as long as this card remains face up on the field.
2 Mystic Walks, there's an argument for more, but Burn, thankfully, has not been as prevalent around here lately. Maybe you could play more or less, but like DMOC, bring this back, sack it off, get 20-100 life. It's very
pretty
real.
good.
Also, people just forget that this takes original attack, so even if you like set Fusilier Dragon
And like
for Mystic Walk, you'll still get your 2800 even though you set it without triggering. It's actually really funny. And then the last monster in the side
another
is
Fusilier.
Second copy of Fusilier, because post game 1, you just want the extra safety in some matchups to just have the level 7 fusions, like the Goat Control type decks where everything they can realistically do to you is targeting based. And yeah, that's the deck, except for, I guess, some like quick extra deck things, because
Cards that come up.
yeah, cards that come up. 3,000 Eyes, not like you're going to make them a ton, but you do play Scapegoat, so you can make them, obviously. The only level 3, this only comes up if you snatch something and then have to meta away. Darkfire comes up a lot because sometimes you're just stuck with Sacred Crane as your only normal summon, and being able to have the light turn into a dark so that you have your Chaos Engine live immediately off of just one normal summon is huge. 5s don't really come up because we don't play Air Knight anymore, but you can make an argument for it, or you're just taking your opponent's 5s in a format where Zaborg is gaining popularity overall, and with that being a 5, snatch it, take it, punch with it, maybe have like the payoff of the negation with Dark Bolter afterwards.
In a case like against Water, where the level 6s become level 5s.
Right. Pajama King, because when you're playing your Chaos Sorcerers, you have your Dark. This is a light, so you just have your Chaos setups, which still, yes, this does come up. Dark Blade Dragon Knight, turning Chaos Sork after it banishes something into the largest body that you possibly can with like the Haiku style effect that it has, does come up to just keep pressure going. Ryu Senshi, essentially just like a mini Enzo, but Sometimes you just need the Jinzo Engrave as your only dart, so you can just metamorphosis into this, have
Ryu-
something sort of like a Jinzo, and then just be the trap negate that you need it to be, similar to Jinzo, but not be completely screwed by Torrential Mirror Force, that kind of a thing. Sevens, this is like the only deck in the game that actually makes sevens reliably because of Fusilier. So, like, the amount of games where you'll just sit on King Dragoon forever, because most decks just don't play non-target removal, is actually wild to me.
Like they saw or will see in the round 3 duel against Anthony.
And the only level 8 fusion that matters, which there are games where I've gone through 2 in the same turn, because Demock, add back Metamorphosis, get a Gatling, pop stuff. Oh, I have another meta, I'll turn this Gatling into another one and just keep flipping coins and hopefully hitting enough heads, coin tosses to actually remove the board. And that's the deck.
Yep.
Anything else to add?
Nope. Other than if the deck that takes first every week is the same deck, I will not be doing deck profiles. Just if it's a different deck, I will be doing deck profiles. And other than that, go as usual, guys. So
Enjoy the goats.
thank you, Andy, for doing your deck profile.
My pleasure.
And I will see you guys, or we will all see you guys in the next video. See you.